Joining us now, former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. Mr. Secretary, I want to start there. You're very familiar with the tensions of this region. And to this point about these ongoing conversations, Politico said this: interventions by Rahim Safavi, which is a top Iranian official, and other senior Iranian policymakers will be seen by Iran's long-running regional rival, Saudi Arabia, as a threatening signal that Tehran is willing to stir up regional conflict to prevent Riyadh from normalizing ties with Israel as the U.S. wants. Do you think that's what this is about?
Well, Shannon, good morning. This is at its core about historic efforts by Iran to wipe Israel off the face of the earth. Make no mistake about it. These were barbaric attacks. They're continuing. Women and children. There's now hostages being held. You know, I was on this very show a few weeks back talking about the fact that when the United States pays $1 billion per hostage, there'll be more hostage taking. Look what happened yesterday. More hostages taken by the Iranian regime's proxy, Hamas, in Gaza. This is bad set of policies. When I hear Mr. Feiner talk about the fact that that decision to give them $6 billion didn't matter, we can't forget, too, we gave Palestinians $230 million on nearly day one of the Biden administration. No, the responsible party here are the leadership, the terrorists in Gaza Strip, Hamas. They are funded by Iran, and the United States policy to cozy up to Iran has created enormous risk for Israel, which we are seeing play out today. And you should know, too, the Gulf states all are watching what Iran is doing here. They can see this was a moment of clarity for the world. Do not avert your eyes. I hope the world will continue to watch what's taking place here, because this is precisely why we built out a structure which isolated Iran, caused at least 4 countries to normalize relationships with Israel, and why when the Biden administration disrupted that, there's so much risk for the American people as well.
Well, and to the broader impact, National Review has this headline: the world is about to change, and likely for the worse. They say that this presumably scotches years of diplomacy, quietly shepherded by both the Trump and Biden administrations, trying to get Saudi Arabia to officially recognize Israel. Iran's self-interest here is thus transparently obvious. But think further afield to places like China, Russia, Ukraine, and America. What do you make of the potential for broader impact, as you just sort of touched on?
Shannon, I think there's a lot of truth to that. Look, we have to focus on what's going on the ground there today. There is an immediate crisis there. This was a massacre of innocents and civilians, and the Israelis must be provided everything they need to respond to this in a way that deters this from ever happening again. That was the mistake. You know, in the opening moments after this attack, the Biden administration's team on the ground in Israel said, gosh, can't we all just get along? They issued a statement demanding that the Israelis essentially fold their tent and allow this massacre to continue. That was
so we know
indecent.
that was retracted, just so folks know. But yeah,
it was retracted
a first response.
That's right. It was their first response. It was their instinct, Shannon. That's exactly right. This is the Biden administration's instinct: appease at every turn. And it's how you get precisely what you described. You described the fact we had 13 Americans killed in Afghanistan. We've seen coups in Africa. We have a ground war in Europe. We have a Chinese Communist Party that is threatening every one of its land-based neighbors and sea-based neighbors. When America refuses to do the right thing and lead and use American power in ways that deter adversaries, they, like the old Southwest Airlines line, they feel free to move about the cabin, Shannon. And that's bad for the United States of America. We now have a strategic petroleum reserve with just 17 days of oil, amongst the lowest in our American history. We've put America on its back foot. And when you do that, the Iranians will run roughshod over us. And I worry greatly that Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Iranians on the ground in Syria today, will seize this moment to do even more harm to the peace that we had built out in the Middle East over our 4 years in office.
Yeah, the exchanges with Hezbollah to the north, very concerning as well. Mr. Secretary, thank you very much. We always appreciate your insights.
Thank you, Shannon. Have a great day, ma'am.
You too. All right.